Hi folks, and welcome back to the plot. I am so excited. I've got basically a whole day of gardening ahead of me today. One of those days where I've just woken up absolutely full of energy. I'm so excited to spend as much time as possible on the allotment. I'm not 100% sure exactly what we're going to get through today, but the first thing I have to share with you is the best news that I could have had, which is that this plot behind mine, the one that is actually joined to mine, the council have heard back from the tenant and they are hoping to give it up. It's not completely confirmed yet. They have to go through the process of actually I don't know, doing something with the tenancy, but I can't believe it. I really was trying my hardest not to get my hopes up about this plot, and we'll do a full plot tour obviously later on, showing you everything on there and how it looks at the start, but I'm just completely over the moon. I've had a bit of a run of good luck recently, to be honest with you, and I'm just feeling so lucky. But yes, absolutely loads and loads to get busy with today. The first thing I want to show you is just what it's looking like in the greenhouse. And one thing as well, I will show at the end of the video, is that I have been doing lots of chili sowing this morning. So today is 1st of February and I've sown the majority of my chili seeds, but you can see the greenhouse is looking a bit chaotic at the moment. And one of the things that we need to do today is get in here. You can see I've just brought my onions along today. First time doing onions from seed, and to be honest, I think this is what they're meant to look like. These were sown on Boxing Day. We've got mostly Bedfordshire Champions at the back there. And we've got some Carmen red onion seed that did come through, but I didn't get a whole tray. It just wasn't that successful, the germination. So we'll have a few reds, hopefully. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, please do let me know in the comments what you think of these onions. Are they looking healthy? Yeah, I'll put up maybe some dates of when I potted these on. I should be able to remember from the kind of seed trays into the modules. But yes, the other thing in here, obviously, lots and lots of cardboard. Oh, I've just remembered as well, I bought some new trays and I was meant to bring them in and I've left those in the car, whoops. But all of this cardboard is for the creation of some kind of no-dig beds out here. And you can see this is the old brassica bed, the onion bed on the left, and I'm hoping to do to this bed what I've done over here, which is basically turn it into one big patch, just eliminate the big grass paths. They kind of host weeds and it's just less growing space really. So after lots of encouragement from subscribers and others, the plan is, particularly here, you can see on the other side I've kind of dug it over, but here this is the old grass path, and I think instead of digging it over, what I'm going to do, just lay down a load of cardboard and all of the manure on top of it. I'll probably do the same kind of just around, because most of these brassicas are dead in the middle, so we can do a bit of kind of no-diggery around here. I will probably cut back these field beans, which were just a bit of a cover crop, a green manure, and cover those as well. So all of that goodness will go back into the soil. So that's kind of the plan for later in the day. But one of the issues today is that my wheelbarrow is kind of out of action and I forgot to bring up the little wheel pump, bike pump, you know what I mean, little pump. And I want to get all of this kind of manure that has rotted down, not in the bags over there. There's some manure that I got. It's so compressed now, but when I loaded that bay up, it was up to the top of this blue wood. So I want to get that out, definitely. I'm still doing some aminopyrrolid testing on the compost that I bought, which is 99% manure. So I'm a little bit nervous about putting that on the beds just yet, but it's looking okay. I just want to be really, really thorough. And we should get this bed here covered with lots and lots of compost as a mulch as well. I did buy lots and lots of compost, but now I've got, hopefully, the second plot to be thinking about over there as well. Oh, I tell you what, a job I've been putting off as well for ages and ages, the apple trees. So yeah, lots and lots to do. But first, another thing I did forget to mention is broad beans. I want to actually start sowing my broad beans today. And no, I just remembered the modules for the broad beans are in the car. I've got some really nice big chunky trays that are perfect for broad beans. Can't talk. Ah, damn. Okay, it's not off to a great start. Let's tidy the greenhouse. I think that's where we'll begin today. The good thing is it doesn't matter that I've forgotten lots and lots of stuff. Jess agreed to come up and help me for a little bit. I've been trying to convince her because everyone was so lovely about her in the comments. I was like, look, you've got to be in more videos. The people love you, Jess. So Jess will bring me up a bike pump and the module trays and all that, but there's lots for me to be getting on with, and I suppose I could as well, if I really have to, I could start taking the sellotape off of all this cardboard. Undoubtedly probably one of the most boring allotment jobs, but I do have my headphones today and it's quite a nice one to just put some music on and zone out to. But I always have a video like this where I just get really stupidly excited about cleaning out the greenhouse. I've already done a bit of a clean out in here. I've got my kind of trays ready and cleared out lots and lots of old pots and just had a little bit of a tidy, but this now I'm gonna get the staging up. And it's when you start to get really excited about the coming year. I know it's still early, it's only just February. It's not spring yet, but there are things that you can sow. And I've never been so excited about a growing year. So it's too much. I'm far too excited, but I do need to get these quad grow pots out as well because I have just been really lazy with those. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do about that next season as well, if I'm going to have quad grow pots or what, but let's get rid of all this. Do you know, someone the other day asked me whether or not I had a shed, which I think does, it goes some way to show that I've done quite a good job of actually not showing off the abominable, awful shed that I have inherited on this plot. It really is falling apart. But recently, I've just found two interesting things in there. I have also found some horrible things. But the first, look at this. You probably know what one of these are, but I'd never realised until I was watching one of Jesse's videos the other day that this is not only a stool, but it doubles as a kneeling pad. Incredible. And also, I cannot believe, I never noticed, but in the shed hanging up or like buried somewhere was one of these Wolf Garden little clawy things. I guess it's not that special in and of itself, but it is quite cool because it means if I do want any more Wolf Garden tools with the small little attachment, I can kind of grow my Wolf Garden collection. I've had this plot for 3 years and never realised the use of either of those things. But this is plenty of cardboard, I think, for the purposes today. I have absolutely loads of like bubble wrap and plastic bags that I've bought composting material up in, and all the stuff that the glass is wrapped in that's still, there's a little bit of it around the plot. I've just been a bit lazy, to be honest, so all of this does need to just go. I think it would be nice to maybe recycle the bubble wrap, but it's been out, it's weathered, it's tearing apart. I think, unfortunately, it's got to go. Oh no. Oh, that's tools. Okay, I thought this was a bag of food for a second. Oh no, it's really gross. Oh God, no. Oh, that is foul. There's a hole in the greenhouse and this is right under it. Absolutely gross. Has everyone noticed that it's been a while since you saw a Waitrose bag on the channel? I've just found something that I was looking for. Yes. You know when you know it's somewhere, you keep seeing it. It's the last bit of rubber that I needed for the greenhouse. The greenhouse, by the way, now is 99% complete in terms of prep. I do still actually need to just put some more screws into the base, into the, to secure the frame to the wooden timber base. But I spent a bit of time up here the other day, got my louvre vent in, it's actually working. It maybe needs a bit of TLC, it's kind of grinding a little bit, but it's in. And as well, which took a little bit of getting in. I do need to get another auto vent for one of those. The first one was provided very kindly by Gardening Naturally. Maybe they'll give me another one. They are just absolutely awesome. And I think this is for the window or somewhere. I can't actually remember where it needed to go now, but little greenhouse update. I just need to basically order the glass and get it. It's just pulling the trigger on quite an expensive thing. just holding off a little while, just in case I do see some more glass somewhere. But that will be happening very, very, very soon. I'm very excited. I said very too much. One thing I should do while I'm here is tidy up these strawberry plants a little. They've done well to survive over winter. The idea was to have this as a hanging basket and grow these in the greenhouse, but I found it just got way too hot for them, and they weren't really getting what they need. So what I think I'm gonna do is basically just keep these around for a little while until it's time to think about replenishing rejuvenating my outdoor strawberry bed, which got absolutely mullered as I had to move it to put the greenhouse in. So I'm just going to tidy these up, and they should continue to kind of just chug along in the greenhouse quite nicely until I need them at a later date. Look at this, poor thing, poor thing. You don't really need to feed around this time of year, but for something fruiting like strawberries, just in these tiny little pots or hanging baskets, I figure, you know, I might as well do it now while I remember. And it's an excuse to tell you about this Westland Growshaw feed that I found. This stuff isn't amazing, it's just kind of compressed, pelleted fertilizer. But the thing that was amazing about it is that I found it on sale at Wilko for 50p. Normally £7, down to 50p, 1.65 kilograms. The NPK is pretty good, 12, 7, 19. So nice kind of balanced. You can use this on a lot of stuff. And I bought so much. We bought like, I think maybe 14 of these. So we've got enough fertilizer for quite a long time. I'm just really, really happy with it. Oh no, it's bloody stuck. There we go. I've tied these to the greenhouse. Oh, I regret every time I make a structure. I tell myself, when it comes to taking it down, it's a problem for future JB. And I always curse myself when it comes to actually getting rid of it. Ah! One of those really annoying things. Wow, there's still water in these quad grow pots. I'm quite surprised by this. Grew tomatoes in these last year, and I actually found that for the most part the tomatoes weren't getting enough water from this kind of self-wicking system. And a little bit of garden gossip, if you didn't know, Greenhouse Sensations, I think, have ceased trading, and they were the guys who kind of retailed these quad grow systems, these kind of auto-watering pots. A lot of people were big fans, and I've got lots of use out of them. I find they actually work really well for chili peppers, but they do take up a kind of disproportionate amount of space compared to the pot size, so I still haven't decided exactly whether or not I'm going to be using them again next year. But lots of spent compost here, which is great for kind of sieving, using for seeds. It's been a while since I looked over here in the finished compost bay. You can see it's pretty small bay, but the stuff in here actually looks pretty all right. I've not been very attentive with the compost this year, turning it and all that kind of stuff, but these pods are going in really nice and easy because they've been left for so long. Everything is just kind of rotting in the bottom of the pot. The capillary matting is coming out really easily and stuff as well. So little quad grow hack, just be really lazy, leave it. It means you don't have to wrestle to get it all out of the pot. Come on! I've been defeated by this last one. Generally, what I use for seed starting, depending on the seed, obviously, is a kind of mixture of 50% this, which is spent compost and compost from the bays, and also some good high quality compost. Generally, what I use for seed starting, depending on the seed, obviously, is a kind of mixture of 50% this, which is spent compost and compost from the bays, and also some good high quality compost that's either store-bought or manure or that kind of thing. But this stuff is a really nice texture. It's always really fine, apart from where you've got big bits of root, but they go back in the bays. just looking through the shed for the seedling shells, and I've just found an absolute horror show. Apparently, at some point last year, I set aside some potatoes. I vaguely remember... Oh, God. I vaguely remember thinking, maybe these will make good seed potatoes, and I don't think there's a single part of the shed that isn't just waterlogged, and yeah, wow, they smell so bad. Oh my God. I'm not even going to compost these, I'm just going to dump them somewhere. One day I will do something about that shed, and it will be a very, very happy day. Oh God, go on. This is it. This is the moment where the new season starts for me. Whenever I get these cheap little shells out of the shed and they go in the greenhouse, it's a signal for me that seeds are going to be getting started soon, and that spring is on its way. They're pretty naff, but it does give me a very good feeling. Look who's come to see us, everyone. And they've brought trays. Well, oh, where's the bike pump? Yes, yes. Watch up. Mind your head on that. I meant on that. Are you ready to give me a hand with it?
Yeah. What do you want me to do?
Thank you so much. We're moving this.
Are you recording?
Yep. If you would like to put some gloves on, you can put some gloves on.
No, they look creepy. What are they attached by?
It's heavier than I was expecting. We just need to get it out and then tip it. Oh, why are you wearing those?
Fashion over function. Hi and welcome back to the channel.
We've just spent a while trying to decide what to actually do. I'm not sure how long Jess is going to be with us.
Anywhere between 5 and 10 minutes.
I think we're going to tackle the really boring job of deselotaping the cardboard. How excited are you to do this with me?
I'm very excited.
So I wasn't quite sure whether or not to go over the field beans, but I think they've done their job, really. They're not putting on much growth with these really, really hard frosts that we've had as well. They've kept the soil together, they've fixed some nitrogen, so hopefully we can get lots of manure on top of this. We've just about got enough cardboard. I thought we had loads, but I've just mainly done this middle path and this bed down here. This bed, I really struggled to grow anything in last year. I don't think it had the fertility. So we're going to get loads and loads of manure on top of here, maybe some compost, and hopefully we'll have a much better year ahead. I had to take the bloody wheel off to actually be able to get the tiny little bike pump on it. Tony's going to enjoy this one. A little bit of time has passed. We've got all the cardboard nice and wet, and I think we've got this good kind of coverage over this area now. I had to stop filming for a while because the weather today is really temperamental. It's either boiling hot or freezing or raining. But now we've got all this down, let's go and have a look at that compost order that I got kind of towards the end of summer. It wasn't very well rotted, so hopefully it's looking a lot nicer now. I think, to be honest, I might have made a bit of a mistake putting this bagged manure on top of the fresh stuff that I had in here rotting down, because it has really, really compressed it. I'm not sure if it will become nice and fluffy when we take this stuff off and start digging through it, but we can hope, can't we? Let's have a look. I have to say, first impression, it just looks really, really wet. I probably should have had some tarp or something on this. It just looks like a big, kind of horrible, solid, wet mess. I'm not filled with confidence. Oh God, it does feel wet, and oh no. I was hoping this was potato, but that to me, that looks like bindweed. Oh, I'm gonna have to go through here quite carefully and just make sure I don't just spread a load of bindweed onto my new no-dig bed. It's very compressed. That is extremely heavy. It's just very wet. There's some leaves in there too. I don't think this is too much to be concerned about because it's going to go on the bed. This is a potato. Because it's going to go on the bed, it's going to have a while to kind of break down and have all the stuff do its work to it. You know, the worms. I can see lots of worms in here and the soil microbes. So I'm not going to be planting into this for a good, 2 months yet, until April. Nothing's going to really be going in the ground in March, I don't think. Not in the new bed anyway. So I'm going to carefully go through here and see how much we pull out. There are good signs in here. Like I say, it is chock full of worms. I can't really see any kind of clumps of horse manure or anything like that. I think it's going to be fine. I'm hoping, where it's so wet, it's quite compact, and I'm hoping if we can fluff it up with a fork, get it on the bed, get the organisms in there, it won't be too bad. All their nettles, I'm picking nettles with my fingers. Look at the size of this little fatty. These are really, really cool. They are just absolutely everywhere. The earthworms are just really doing great work in here. I was really worried about this, but actually, as I start to dig through, I think it looks really good. It's just a bit wet and it's a bit compressed. So with this kind of forking, getting the air back in, a lot of these roots as well, they are potatoes that have somehow snuck in. There might be the odd bit of bindweed, but I think I'm getting that out. Look, here's one, little potato. Lots of leaves in here too. At some point I must have coated this with leaves and grass clippings too, but once again, they should break down fairly quick when I put them on the bed, I think. Oh, this is just amazing to look through. This is that kind of top layer of leaves. But the actual manure itself, like I say, a bit wet, full of worms. Doesn't smell at all. Not quite crumbly and soft, but that's because of the compression and the moisture. So I think this is going to be really good. And while I've been getting all muddy, sticking my hands in manure, Jess has actually planted something for the first time ever. I think this is
the first time ever.
What do you think you've planted on the allotment before?
What's been your most successful thing?
You've got a shout.
What's been your most successful thing?
Potatoes.
Then I grew those.
How do you grow potatoes?
You pop them in the ground.
She is right, to be fair. They're literally behind me, you can't see them on camera. But Jess has been sowing broad beans. And these are not just any broad beans, apparently these are amazing. I think this is one of Steve's recommendations for the Sutton dwarf. And I'm always a fan of a dwarf because it means, that doesn't sound right, does it?
Because you're short?
Well, I am short, yeah, but you've got to shout at the microphone, otherwise they won't hear your hilarious jokes.
Because you're you're short?
No, because dwarf varieties, they just don't need as much kind of staking up.
Yeah.
And, work and anything that is easier, I'm all for. So what have you done in here? Just one in each module?
Yeah.
First time ever doing broad beans, so we'll see how they go. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
I'm going to do more digging through horse mess. The manure is looking okay, so I think it's really time for me to start unloading it onto here, and I'm really, really genuinely intrigued to see just how far the amount of compost that is in that bay is going to go. It doesn't help that it's been compressed down a bit. This bed is about 3.5 meters long by about 2 meters, 2.2 meters wide, and it's quite a big area, and these things never ever go as far as you expect. So let's start unloading it and see how far it goes. Wish me luck. there we have it. It's covered a fair old area actually. I still need to rake this out, but wow, that was quite a workout getting right to the bottom of that compost bay. And like I say, the stuff looks pretty good. I'm quite happy with this, and I'm going to do a little kind of impromptu test by leaving this stuff here, which is the stuff that I got from a relatively local horse yard and let rot down, and then on that bit there I'm going to use the bagged compost that I bought from the compost centre. We'll see how far they go as well and rake this out, but it's looking pretty good. There are still one or two slightly clumpy bits, and every time you break one of them up you can see it's just teeming with worms inside. So I think they'll break down really quick. One thing that's a little tricky with this bed, the ground underneath was extremely unlevel, so I'm just trying to level off this as best I can as a Chinook flies over very loudly. I think that doesn't look too bad. It's a little bit awkward at the edge because there's quite a big dip. I think I'm okay to leave this like this for now. I'm going to get a little dibber and just see what kind of depth we're at here, because it feels quite deep. I mean, wow, okay, that's like, that's literally as deep as my hand, so it can probably afford to be spread out a little bit thinner than this. Actually, I don't want to be wasteful with the compost. Well, it's not really wasteful, is it? But I don't want to use more than necessary. I want to make sure it can go as far as possible. So I'm going to scrape this out a little bit further. Yeah, once again, over here, this is as deep as my hand. But then here, it's not quite as far. And then here, it's really, because this is the dip with the path, there's going to be just a lot more compost over here, I think. If I spread this out too much, so that there's a nice, relatively normal layer of compost, then there just will be a really thin layer of compost over here. So I think I'm going to just have to use a lot here. And, you know, that's just how it is. And I think that's it for today. I am absolutely pooped. My back is screaming. I was going to hopefully show you my chili peppers that I've sown today as well. But I think maybe we'll just leave the indoor sowings for another episode. Maybe we'll talk about some of the flowers that Jess has got on the go as well. Thank you ever so much for watching. And thank you once again, as always, to all of the Patreon supporters. I've always said that I would love to do No Dig, but one of the reasons that I've not is because of the cost of compost. And with the support that I'm getting through people watching these very silly little videos and Patreon, it's meant I'm finally able to really kind of invest in this kind of stuff. So I'm hoping it's going to be a fantastic year. Thank you again for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again next time.